members. I see I'm registered as Tobile's iPad. I don't know why, but we'll change that. We have in the meeting Mr. Sam Rotoba, who's the TTG responsible for public employment services. We have Ms. Esther Twane, who's also Chief Director at Public Employment Services. We have Ms. Mantombi Bobani, also from Public Employment Services. And I think those are the officials that we have from the department, Chairperson. Thank you.
Thank you very much, DG. I see there are other names there, Mr. Sakaza. Can we check who are those? Can they please introduce themselves?
Good morning, Chair. It's Marva from Parliamentary Communication Services.
Thank you. Who else? Who's Lumkani? Mlukani, M. Lukani. Is it from the department, DJ?
It's me, Chair. It's Marva from.
Oh, it's Marva. Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And okay. And Adre? I can't pronounce that surname.
Chair, if I may just come in for Adri Labuskachne. She is in the IT chair, but I was told since there is that e-voting training that they will be joining at least 10:30. So I thought they will join all together because there are about 5 of them. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, PMG. Or he has just left his or her jacket. Mkubeke Zulani, if he does not want to introduce herself. Thank you very much, members. Thank you, DJ and your team. Our meeting today, can you please flash the agenda for today? Our agenda for today, which has been circulated to the members, we were going to have a briefing by the DEL. In fact, it's an update. And I think I must make members to really understand that why we have then requested the department just to come to update us on where they are, how far is this in terms of their processes in the department. It's not something that we are going to be asking questions, asking why this. There is going to be time for that. But because the matter is a matter of national interest, it's important for us as members of Parliament to be updated and to be vigilant at the appropriate time, where they will then come and take us through when they have followed all their policies and protocols. We will then ask questions. If they are areas of interest, I'm of the understanding that all of us here, starting from me, I may have stakeholders that may have an interest. The department has circulated an invite for all stakeholders to comment, whether verbally or in writing. So that process is still within the department they are only updating us. I thought that it will be important for me as we're starting the meeting so that members understand, because I don't want to make members to feel uncomfortable when I am calling them to order, but it's just an update on their roadmap. Otherwise, the second, after that, I'm not quite sure, Mr. Sakaza, why do you put members training between our program? Because members training, my understanding is that it will be afterward, after the adoption of the minutes. Why is it in between our our areas of work. Can I be clarified, or is it because?
No, Chair, there was no specific what you call, but I thought maybe, Chair, they can train and then they leave, and then the committee just sit and I can change it, Chair, if the committee wants it like that.
No, fine. Let me wait for members. You are comfortable with that? That we can then, after that update, we then get a members training, e-voting, or should it be the last after we've adopted our minutes? There are only 3 sets of minutes. Can I get from you, members? Silence means consent. Yes.
Mkhonto.
Yes, Honorable Mkhonto.
Chair, I suggest that we complete our business as the committee and then we go to the training. Thank you.
Are we all comfortable with that? Oh,
Yes.
so all of us. Thank you, members. Can you formally change that, Mr. Sakaza? Thank you, DG. Over to you on the update.
Good morning, Chair, again, and the honorable members. And Chair, thank you very much for inviting us and for the introduction that you've made on this topic. Certainly, that's a point that I wanted to raise before we start with the presentation. That given the invite that you sent to us and the update that you requested, we felt obliged to come to the committee. But what we're presenting to the committee is not the final document. As you know, that we still have to follow the government processes internally before the policy is sent to the committee officially. We're at the stage where we are ready to go to NEDLEC to have the consultation there at NEDLEC, and thereafter we go to cabinet, and then we can then release the document to the portfolio committee. So we just wanted to raise that point, Chair, so that it's clear that we're not coming to the committee to present the final product or handing over the document to the committee as it is customary for us to do so. I'm going to ask Mr. Mrotoba to just take us through the presentation. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, DG. Mr. Mrotoba, over to you.
Good morning, honorable members, honorable chairperson. I'm going to switch off my video. I'm in a very cold place in DR. I hope the DM has joined us because she's on her way here. She indicated that she'll join online as she's also driving to here. If with your permission, I can switch off my video and I'll ask Mr. Sakaza to put the presentation up for me.
Permitted. You may switch off your video.
Mr. Sakaza, you can put the presentation on the screen. Thank you very much. Next slide. Chairperson and honorable members, I will just cover briefly the background to this policy, give you the context, the key interventions that we are planning to do in the department, a little bit on the progress and the rollout plan. Next slide. Just briefly on the background, I'm sure honorable members will know that the issue of violent protest that is besetting us is well-known. Truck drivers, the riots that we have had in a number of areas that ended up being highlighted as if South Africa is xenophobic towards people from other countries. You all know about the advantage that some employers are taking because of the policy problem that we have in employing foreign nationals and displacing current people, because foreign nationals in some cases are vulnerable and are willing to accept low wages. You also know that this practice is quite rife during your visit, and the inspectors on a daily basis, we get calls of undocumented foreign nationals that are not properly registered in terms of various legislation. Next slide. We come from a history of a two-gate policy that has been in existence for years, dating back to the 1640s or 1650s. And over the years, starting from the discovery of gold, etc., the policy was aimed at, that is the two-gate policy, what we call the loudstok tax and other legislation. Those combined interventions were aimed at forcing South Africans who stayed mainly in rural areas to migrate to big cities and to stay in compounds such as hostels and later on townships that emerged, because the intention was to force them to go and sell their labor in the big industries, mining, that were emerging. The second strategy was to source labor from neighboring countries through an agreement with the governments of the neighboring countries. Most of them at the time fell under the various colonial administration. And the idea was to also exchange their labor in terms of remittances. So those government departments managed to send labor en masse to come and work in South Africa. And this was predominantly in the mining industry. And in developing the policy, we had to look at a number of things. We consulted with the national, that is the Employment Services Board, but you may remember that this topic has been a hot one, especially at SADC, where the ministers of employment, as way back as 2015, had pointed to this fact that unless we address this problem, we are going to continue to have citizens of the different countries within SADC fighting each other. And at the same time, the various employers who were investing in other countries, or especially in the neighboring countries, are settling for uneven standards. And for those of you who know how we operate within the SADC region and in the ILO, is that ministers of employment, including trade unions and government departments within the SADC region and the AU, we all go to the ILO and we agree on certain conventions. And it is important for us to employ those across the region. And that is why in developing this policy, there was an agreement to make sure that there is harmonization of policy within the region. And that as part of harmonizing the policy, we also need a legal instrument, because it's one thing to have a policy. And that is why we looked at the current legislative framework and proposed that we amend legislation. If you can move on to the next slide. What we are sharing with you on the next slide is just the existing legislation that is currently in place to manage migration. In the main is the Immigration Act, and obviously there are two other acts that are very important, the Citizenship Act and the Refugees Act, and both are in the Department of Home Affairs. Now, the outcry from the Department of Home Affairs has been that we as the Department of Employment and Labor need to take our responsibility, because we are making it very difficult for them to manage migration, especially labor migration. We know that the biggest component is the labor migration, and that is not their domain. And where they've been taken to court, they lost those cases because they couldn't put comprehensive arguments, and hence they agreed with us that as we finalize our policy and our legislation, they will repeal those sections in their legislation. And currently, there is a process within Home Affairs and ourselves where we are working on the 3 legislation and the employment services to make sure that there is harmonization. But in the main, Section 15 of the and 14.3 of the Immigration Act are the main ones that regulates the allocation of business visas to external countries. And this one confirms that an enterprise with a business visa must have 60% of total staff to be South Africans, and 40% can be foreign nationals. Then there are other sections, such as the Section 19.3 of the regulation, the immigration regulations, which deals with the general work visa. The corporate work visa is in terms of Section 21, and it talks to the whole issue of labor requirements. On the next slide, the next slide, 2.1, if you look at all labor legislation, there are only 2 sections in the Employment Services Act, is Section 8 and Section 9. Safe to say, honorable members, that all pieces of legislation apply equally to citizens and to foreign nationals. There is no discrimination in terms of labor laws, but the only legislation that is very specific on this area is the Employment Services Act. However, this section was seen to be inadequate, hence we had to review this section with the intention of coming up with an entire chapter so that we strengthen what was intended in terms of Section 8 and 9, because it is linked to the Immigration Act. On the next slide, we indicate the fact that if you look at, and we have done a research jointly with Home Affairs, of all cases where Home Affairs was taken to court, and you will notice from that there were a number of cases that we lost, but the judges did pronounce on things that were wrong or that were not adequately outlined in our legislation that we need to fix. And that is why we embarked on this process. We did develop regulations in terms of Section 8 and 9, which was intended to cover a whole range of aspects. But the state law advisors came back to us to say, look, your regulations are going to be ultra-virus simply because the enabling legislation and the current provisions, Section 8 and 9, are limited. They don't give the minister adequate powers to do what you are intending to do in terms of the regulation. Hence, we contacted our lawyers, and they advised us on the best route to go, which was to develop the policy and to make sure that we develop the necessary legislation. Next slide, just on the context. If you go to that, I mean, we know that the migration was racially orientated, currently we're sitting with about 7% of our labor force being foreign nationals. Stats SA indicates that the formal documented people that are in the country are around between 3.2 and 3.4 million. And the rest are not documented, and estimates differ between who you talk to. Some will put the numbers at 4 million, some even more. But currently, within the IOM, estimations are around 4 million or so. And that puts the total number of migrants to be highest in the whole of Africa. I think if you look at other countries that have 1 million or so, it's mainly countries that are in North Africa and in the Central Africa. In the SADC region, we remain the highest, and in terms of the entire Africa, we remain the highest country that continues to attract migrants, both documented and undocumented. And especially after 2000, we've seen a large influx because of the border issues, but also because of the state of our economy and the pressures that were emanating in other countries, be it economic in terms of our neighboring countries and so on. And we have also, I did mention the issue of the legal challenges in terms of the Immigration Act, Refugees Act, and the process that the Department of Home Affairs followed. Now, in designing the next slide, in designing the policy, we had to agree on a roadmap. And this roadmap started, like I said, with the ministers, and we had the sessions in 2015-16. The draft that we have, if I recall, is the fourth draft that we have been developing ever since. And we after developing the draft, concluded a process where we went to the presidency to get a formal certification after the minister's approval. And we went to clusters where we presented this policy, and we went to cabinet, and the direction that we got from cabinet was that go and consult on the policy, which involved the publication of the policy for a 3-month period where we received more than 650 comments. We held sessions across the length and breadth of the country. We held sessions with the missions, institutions of higher learning, academics, and so on. And after receiving all those, we sat down to consolidate those comments. We revised the policy, and now we are at a stage where we are in a process of going to the next level of consultation. Just on the policy rationale on the next slide, is that it was not an easy thing in developing this policy. We had to do a number of things that seemed to be impossible. On one hand, we had to try and achieve a balance between the expectations of South Africans, the challenges that we have in the labor market, in that in some areas you have got an influx of migrants, and there are very specific sectors such as construction, the cleaning sector, the household. You have got the mining sector traditionally that attracted a lot of foreign nationals. You have the hospitality and tourism, which has in the hotels and shops, eating areas has attracted a lot of migrants. The security industry is also one of them, etc. Now, we also have to look at the protection of migrant, because in terms of international conventions, there are different types of migrants, but irrespective of the status of migrants, whether they are regular, refugees, irregular, internationally and in terms of our constitution, we have to make sure that they are treated as human beings. We also have to look at the regional aspects. South Africa is not an island. We form part of the region. We also have to look at the developmental potential of migration, SADC agreements. We also need to look at the legislation that we have, but also the bilateral agreements that are in place, some of them dating back to the 60s. The next slide on guiding principles is that we also had to align with international and regional agreements. We are part of SADC, and we have signed a number of SADC protocols, the AU protocols, and the international protocol on global agreements around migration. And we also need to align our intervention with the national policies that we have, because we couldn't do everything without looking at our international policies. We also had to align with the constitutional provisions, Section 32 and other provisions, and we needed to make sure that we align with other legislation in other government departments. We struggled a bit, but currently we formulated a vision that says what we want to do is to have a migration policy that gives rise to efficient and effective government leadership and intervention, supported by social partners and all major stakeholders, allowing for safe, orderly and regular migration for employment of highly semi and low-skilled workers to and from South Africa in pursuit of the country's national priorities. Now, this took us quite some time to debate and finally agree to at the Employment Services Board level. And we ended up coming up with 4 simple interventions that defines this policy. If you can move to the next slide. Now, in brief, what is this policy trying to do? The policy is focusing on 4 areas, and I'll take you through all of them one by one. The migration governance, the data for monitoring, the labor migration from South Africa, and the labor migration, sorry for the typo, is labor migration to South Africa. That is the labor migration to South Africa in 3, and labor migration from South Africa in 4. Next slide, if we take the governance issue. Currently, on the next slide, we have weak and inadequate interministerial coordination. We have had challenges on the processing of work visas, and I think the Portfolio Committee on Migration took us to task on this issue in the mining sector. We know that there are challenges on skills, and honorable members may know that other countries are intent on stealing the scarce skills that we have in South Africa. And yet, locally, there is intention to recruit more from abroad, because there is an outcry that we have low skills. There is a lot of fraud when it comes to recruitment process, especially private employment agencies and some companies, because they do everything to justify why they are employing foreign nationals. And there was no sufficient consultation with labor. Now, the benefit of putting a governance structure in place next slide, is that it will put the Department of Labor's 411, just next slide, you skipped, can you go to slide that says 41? Yes. It will strengthen the ability of the department to play its role in the migration space. And I think currently the president has tasked the Minister of Employment and Labor and the Minister of Home Affairs to coordinate 15 departments. Initially, we had 12, because migration issues don't only impact on the Department of Employment and Labor. They impact on agriculture, given the large number of agricultural space we have, social development. We have a lot of migrants that are in the country that are having to be covered in one way or the other in terms of social grants. Defense and intelligence have got a lot of criminal aspects that they have to deal with, the same with police. The small business is a department that we are working with and is affected because a lot of migrants who find themselves as refugees, everywhere where you go, they've set up shops and so on. So the president deemed it fit that the interministerial is coordinated by the two ministers because they are central in this whole process. And we also deal with the Department of Education in the scarce and critical skills to make sure that we attract the kind of professionals that we need. And we have also afforded the social partners space to contribute to the policies. That is why we're going to NEDLEC and so on, because they are critical in terms of dealing with migration with us. That is the benefits that will come with the governance section of the policy. It's detailed, and in terms of the legislation, we detailed that. The second one, which is on data, 4.2, next slide, is that currently no one can tell you exactly, except for Home Affairs, who have also complained that they record millions of people coming in, but there are a lot of people who overstay, who don't go back, remain in the country, and when they want to go back, they simply go and claim that they've lost passports, and that is contributing to the large number of migrants. You also know of the border management system, but on undocumented people, it is very difficult, and internationally there is an agreement that phenomena is very difficult to monitor. And once you have people who are not documented, like you and I, no fingerprints, nothing, it becomes difficult and very problematic in terms of dealing with crime, dealing with money laundering issues, and so on. And that is why we needed to make sure that we've got a system of data that can also manage and trace these people. And currently we don't have, and we cannot collect and analyze the information. As we know that in the country, there are some parts of the country where you go, you have a lot of Malawians. You go to some country sections in the mining sector. We know that there are a lot of Botswana and citizens from other countries and so on. And without proper data, we are not able to plan. So on the next slide, we thought that if we can fix that between ourselves and Stats SA, we can improve the manner in which we collect this data. We will make sure that we align our interventions, and South Africa will have a reliable labor information that we can use to inform, to implement, and to monitor the impact of our policy interventions. If you go to the third area, which is labor migration to South Africa, 4.3, we have had challenges that we have not had strategic thinking and direction regarding how we manage, especially the low migration. And that is why movements such as the Dudulas, your Association for Truck Drivers, your Forgotten Citizens, and so on, have taken this issue and made it a serious political issue, because they believe that by not managing this aspect, we have allowed foreign nationals to come in and displace South Africans. And in some areas, there are problems around skills mismatch, and some people are leaving the country and they go and work wherever, especially in the nursing, the health, and the construction sector. South Africans are all over the world without proper framework. And you also have a growing number of irregular migrants that are displacing South Africans. And within the SADC region, the issue of partnerships has been raised. The fraudulent recruitment practices and fraudulent documents. We were in a meeting with the Trucking Association, where we even had to ask the Department of International Relations to inform the SADC member states that we are putting processes where the road traffic police and various law traffic enforcers are now going to impound some of the licenses, but also verify some of these licenses with the issuing agencies in their country. And if they cannot be confirmed, they will simply confiscate them, because to give you a sense of what is happening in the trucking industry that we have been involved, South Africans are saying they can't drive because they have to go for PDP every 6 months. They have to be tested for medical fitnesses. And yet foreign drivers come with a lifetime license. They don't have to have PDPs. They don't have to have dangerous goods transportation certificates, etc. And they believe that there are uneven treatments. And when you trace the origin of those documents, you find that they were issued somewhere in Swaziland or somewhere in South Africa by some agencies that the intelligence are following up. And those documents cannot be authenticated by the countries of origin, which explains also the high numbers of accidents that we have. So this is a big problem, and we're trying to deal with that. And especially on the illegal, dangerous, and exploitative working conditions, the minister often talks about the factories that we raided, where we found that some companies, especially Chinese companies, have locked inside those companies people. If you can go on to the next slide, the benefits of having migration controlled is that we will be able to prioritize who comes into the country in terms of issuing permits to the scarce and critical skills that we require, and limit the number of countries that we have in oversupply. But at the same time, we will also manage the imparting and transfer of skills to South Africans and preserving employment. And if you look at legislation across the country, you are free to visit their websites in the neighboring countries. You'll find that their employment legislation in Botswana, in Namibia, in Zimbabwe, they protect certain skills and trades to be occupied strictly by citizens, and no other foreign nationals will come in unless it is through a bilateral agreement. It will give us a better enforcement aspects and then improve protection, including the issue that has been raised over and over again, that migrants work in South Africa and their social security is not being transferred properly to their countries of origin. So we will be able to manage that much better and to make sure that our processes link with those of our countries in the neighboring sector. The next slide on the labor migration from South Africa to other countries. Currently, we do have highly skilled. If you go to New Zealand, we visited some parts of New Zealand where we were surprised, and you go to Perth, it's strictly Afrikaans that is spoken in that area. Of course, a lot of South Africans left the country to go and settle in those areas because they had their own reasons and so on. We had discussions with them. But we have had a lot of skills that have immigrated to other countries without frameworks. And when things go bad and there are wars, like in the recent Sudan, Ukraine, the missions have problems in having to save and evacuate all those people, because there are in some instances, they don't even know where they are located. We don't have a data that indicates where most of these South Africans are located, and a means to make sure that we are able to reintegrate those that want to come back from those missions. And we are not taking advantage, especially where South Africans are given 2-3 years contracts, to make sure that we are able to utilize that process to gain, to make South Africans send abroad to really acquire those skills. And the other issue has to do with the South African protections. I mean, there are a lot of exploitations that are happening in the Gulf region and other countries. And where you don't have bilateral labor agreements, your citizens unfortunately end up being dealt with in a manner that is not something that we can be proud of. They work for the rest of their life only to find that they can't transfer their remittances to countries of origin. And social security, they come back and become a burden to the social security system of the country, etc. And I think increasingly countries are moving towards addressing this problem. So the benefits of dealing with this fourth one, next slide, is that we will be able to maintain data of South Africans working across and introduce strategies on how we deploy and attract South Africans back as part of the diaspora. And we have seen recently, because of the aging population within the European countries, that there is a lot of demand, especially in construction and agriculture and so on, that we will, if we can take advantage of those opportunities, we will be alleviating the rate of unemployment locally by sending South Africans to go and work in those countries, but make sure that they are integrated within the national strategies. We are able to retain skills. And when South Africans get to those countries, we can be rest assured, working with our missions, that they will enjoy the same protection as local workers. They will enjoy health and safety in line with the international conventions. And once they finish working in those countries, they will be able to come back with the remittances that they would have earned into those countries. Next slide. Now, we know, honorable members, that the policy itself does not give effect to these things unless it comes in the form of legislation. The policy outlines the intention, and that is why we, parallel to this policy, got the services of a number of well known legal people to assist us in the labor market, and we back them with experts from the ILO to assist us in amending the Employment Services Bill, and we also published that one for public comment. In brief, without going into detail on the aspects, is that we want to extend the scope of the Act to cover private employment agencies that do not operate for gain. Secondly, to regulate employment of foreign nationals in a manner that is consistent with the object of the Act and the Immigration Act. And there are aspects such as the quotas in there that we want to introduce to limit the employment levels of foreign nationals, and to expand the scope of the Act to cover employers and workers and functions of the employment services, and increase the minister's powers to make regulations in other related matters. And in terms of this area, you will know that since COVID, the gig economy, and especially your Uber, your Bolt, taxi, and Uber Eats, etc., attracted a lot of migrants, and they are not employed in terms of any regulation. So the issue of platform workers and predominantly foreign nationals is a big issue that we are confronting. And the other two aspects relates to the governance of the supported employment enterprises. This is something that the Treasury said we must fix, and that is something that led to their qualifications. And we thought that even though it may not be migration related, we use this opportunity to amend that aspect as advised by Treasury. And lastly, to deal with the enforcement part, because this one falls between the Department of Home Affairs and ourselves. You will acknowledge and accept, honorable members, that when an inspector goes to a plant or a farm, they make an appointment. Foreign nationals are told not to come during the day. They do inspections only to find that it's South Africans employed. They leave, South Africans tell them, look, we have lots of migrants who were told not to come in. We organize raids with Home Affairs and police, and we find a lot of foreign nationals. Now, what we intend to do with this section is to make sure that there is a very clear and good understanding between the inspections in the Department of Home Affairs and the inspectors in the Department of Employment and Labor, the police, and so on, so that we are able to work in a coordinated manner like we are doing currently in the joint inspections, so that we close this loophole, because it has been a problem. Now, just on the next slide, on the progress to date, briefly, I think on the unintended consequences, we are saying if we don't have the policy and legislation in place, we are going to continue to have the current inconsistent approach, non-aligned processes. The labor migration will continue, and obviously opportunistic groups will continue to take advantage of the situation. And without a proper regulatory framework, our hands are tied in that even though we can go to court, we will continue to lose some of the challenges. And if you look at the previous judgments, we have a sense of what the different presiding officers indicated that we must fix in terms of our legislation. On the progress to date, we like the chairperson said, next slide, is that if you can move to the next slide, yes. We have released the bill and the policy, We conducted those hearings. We have had radio, TV shows, and these were led by different leadership of the department. We have had social media. We received written comments where we have all those documented, and we've gone through all of them and isolated issues where people raised issues that we may have overlooked and incorporated them in the draft. And next slide, on the rollout plan, we have approached NEDLEC. I've written to NEDLEC, the next slide, that we ask the executive director to bring together the labor market chamber and the development chamber, because this matter sits in those two, and that we have a program for the next 2 months where we are going to consult. We believe that extensively social partners have consulted, but if we reach agreement quickly, we may even reduce that period by half. We know that the one contentious issue remains that of limitation on the number of people in the areas, and this is not surprising because at NEDLEC you agree, but when it comes to implementation, we always have those challenges. And we also have to go to the presidency for secondary CS, the state law advisor for the secondary certification, the government clusters, and in order to get the go-ahead to go to cabinet. And once we get approval from cabinet, we believe that formally you will then receive the policy and the bill for you to take it through your own processes until it becomes legislation. Thank you, Honorable Chairperson and honorable members, for giving me the opportunity to present to you. Thank you, DG.
DG, is there anything that you'd like to add or to speak on?
No, thanks, Chair. No, except the point that I think Mr. Mrotoba did clarify this issue of a 60-40, because there's always been confusion about whether we do have a quota system that exists currently. And our standard question to this has been, as presented by Mr. Mrotoba, that it applies only on certain circumstances where there's new investment in the country. And that has created an impression that we do have a quota system. And I just wanted to clarify that point, that that's one of the areas that we want to clarify as to how it works. And thus far, it's been abused because when we get to companies, we are told that no, there's 60-40, even though companies have been in South Africa for a longest time. And also the question of a transfer of skills, it has not been happening. And sometimes we are forced to legislate because self-regulation itself has failed. And if you look at all our legislation, they are premised on the principle of self-regulation. But in instances where self-regulation has failed, we are then forced to regulate. I just wanted to make those points, Chair. Thank you so much.
Thank you, DG. Honorable members, initially, I did reflect that this is an update. We are still going to get a presentation that will then ask questions when the process will then be formally sent to Parliament. So I just wanted to say thank you, DG, for that. We'll monitor this process. We'll monitor it because this is an issue really of national interest to all stakeholders and all institutions, including ourselves, more especially because we are lawmakers, and therefore we will really monitor with keen interest, and hoping that the issues that have been raised here will then be have those areas where you think that you can be able to shorten the time if possible. But thank you very much for that presentation. We will now go to our next, which is minutes. Mr. Sakaza.
Chair,
Honorable Mkondo.
my hand is up.
Yes.
Chair, I wanted to check if we can't ask questions if things that we think should be included are already included in the policy. Just questions on those lines.
Can I remind members? This is a process of the department and subsequently cabinet. When they will bring that to us, it's their process. When they then bring they come with the end product of whatever they have done, we will ask questions, we will add. Remember that we are still going to invite, even ourselves, invite people to come and make oral or written submissions. So this is their process. We will be bordering into interfering in their process. Let's allow them to do their things. When they come, which I hope they will come soon, DG, with your processes, so that we ask those questions, we make those additions, and then because you must remember, they also not allowed to interfere with our question, with our processes when we answer, when we are dealing with our processes. It was just an update, and therefore they are still busy with their process. So I hope members really they do understand, and they will bear with the department. It was just so that we are alive to the fact that, because remember that this is towards the end of our term, DG, and would have loved that even if in the sixth parliament, the seventh parliament, if possible, if everything is possible, we hope so that at least we go into that, the country go into the seventh parliament with a policy that is really going to assist the country. So we can't make any additions, members. We can't, for now. We will make additions and ask questions during our time. Thank you.
My hand is also up.
Ricardo?
I find that a very strange way of proceeding. I mean, we are members of parliament, we are legislators. Our job is to exercise oversight over the department. To me, it's a very strange thing that the department comes and speaks and presents and provides feedback, and we are not given an opportunity to interrogate them. I mean, that cuts the whole purpose of being a member of parliament and the whole purpose of exercising oversight in committee meetings. I just think that's a very peculiar fashion in which to conduct proceedings.
No, Honorable Ricardo. No, it's not a fashion. And unfortunately, you understand. Maybe it's because that we have never been exposed to an update. This is a process that is going. It's the process of a regulation that is going to come to us. Why do we then want to be? And I think I'm a bit concerned. about your statement. That is why I made it. I did explain to members that it is an update. We have never interrogated any process of the department and cabinet until it comes, and that is going to happen. We will interrogate. Why do you want to interrogate? Because we are still going to have that process of interrogation. It was just an update. Maybe we shouldn't. Maybe let me take that. Maybe I thought that the issue is of national interest, and we would also like to ensure that at least these regulations, they don't become stagnant somewhere, and then there is a complaint. We are then able to monitor and then begin to then ask. We are still going to be given a process of interrogation. Well, my understanding is that an update is it's an update. They are still going to come. I don't know why the panic that they are not going to come, and therefore we're not going to interrogate. We are going to interrogate. We have got our own stakeholders that have got an interest. If the avenue is still opened, we can still do that via them. There's nothing wrong with that, because they're not going to say, I was told by Tunjwa to ask this, but we will still allow people to come and raise their issues, and we will still raise their issues. But we can't want to be involved in the department and the cabinet on an issue of regulations or bills or amendments. Thank you very much. Mr. Sakaza, I'm sorry, I was not. Mr. Sakaza, can you take us to the next point of minutes were circulated to us. Those are the minutes of the 8th of March, consideration and adoption of the first quarter. Those are the attendees. Yes, that's page 1. And 1. Can we get a formal mover? Or before that, any comments, corrections? If none, can we get a formal mover? Can we get a formal mover?
Chair, I'm not sure.
Honorable Mtabe.
Honorable Mtabe.
Because I can raise the hand.
Honorable Nonsele.
No. I'll second Honorable Mtabe.
Okay, Honorable Mtabe.
Thank you. Good morning, Chair and honorable members. I move for the adoption of the minutes of the 8th of March. Thank you, Chair.
Can get Honorable Nonsele?
Notice Nonsele, I second the motion moved by Honorable Mtabe. So I move, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you. Can you get the second set of minutes? Mr. Shakaza. Uzolani uqhawukile ne? Mr.
No, Chair,
Shakaza.
I'm just, no, Chair, I'm here. I'm just getting to it now. It's, where is it now? Minutes of.
Bengicela uzabe soyitshekishile nje.
Besendizibekile Chair, but siphinde zabhaleka nakhe andise apha.
Okay.
Minutes of the 15. Where is the 15? Yeah. 15. Is that the one? This is the 8th. Where is 15? In here. Is it visible, Chair? Not yet.
No, not yet on my screen.
Here, where is it now? Chair. That's it, Chair. Is it visible now?
15th of March, the DEL and the CCMA presentation on the estate plan and APP. Attendees. Thank you. Any comments or corrections? If none, may we get a formal mover? Honorable Zuma.
Thank you, Chairperson. Good morning, Chairperson. Good morning, honorable members. I, Honorable Sibongile Zuma, I formally move the draft adoption of the minutes of the 15th of March. I thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Zuma. Can we get a seconder? Honorable Mdabe.
As Mrs. Mdabe formally second the adoption of the minutes of the 15th of March. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. May we get the last set of minutes, Mr. Sakaza?
Um, 22. Where is 22? 22 March, Chair.
Thank you. There are the minutes of the 22nd of March on the presentation by NEDLEC and Productivity SA on the estate plan and the APP. First page is attendees. Page 3. Thank you. Any comments, corrections? If none, may we get a formal mover? Honorable Volmerans.
I hereby move for the adoption of the minutes as a true reflection of the day, Chair.
Thank you. May we get a seconder?
Honorable,
Chairperson,
Honorable Nonsele.
I, Martin Amsale, formally second the motion moved by Honorable Volmarans. So I move, sir.
Thank you, honorable members. We will now, thank you very much. We will now go to our.
Sorry, Chair, there's one last set
Oh, sorry.
of the 3rd of May, Chair. Let me just get to it.
Sorry. The 3rd of May, consideration of the adoption of the draft report on our budget vote 31. Those are the attendees. Thank you. Can we get a formal mover?
Volmarans, Chair.
Honorable Volmarans.
I, Matthew Volmarans, move for the adoption of the minutes as a true reflection of the day in question, Chair.
Thank you. Can we get a seconder?
Honorable Chairperson, I, Honorable Sibongile Zuma, a formally second Honorable Volmarans in the adoption of the minutes.
Thank you. I think those were that was the last set, Mr. Sakas, am I correct? Yes.
That's correct, Chair.
Thank you very much, honorable members. Now we will then be engaged in the training. I will hand over to the IT staff. I don't know who's leading. The department is we've come to the end of our meeting. You are excused. We are now going to be dealing with our in-house teams as members of Parliament. Thank you very much, DSG and the guests.
Thank you very much, Chair and honorable members.
Thank you. I will humbly request that members must not log out now. We'll then hand over to the leader of the team for training. Mr. Sagaza will indicate who will that be.
Mr. Zandisilim Msichana, Chair, is here, is a co-host that is going to take us through.
Okay, thank you, honorable members. Thank you, Chair. My name is Zandisilim Msichana. I'm from ICT. I've got a number of other people that have joined just to assist with the training. Basically, what happened was during lockdown, when Parliament couldn't sit, we were asked to find a solution as ICT for electronic voting. Also, then that was exacerbated by the fire in Parliament, because now we no longer have a chamber where we can actually vote using the gadgets on the tables. So we were then asked to find a solution. We went through a lot of solutions. I think we started with about 60. But I think the driving thing was to make sure that whatever solution we come up with can adhere to the rules of Parliament. We ended up, after a long session testing, we ended up with the one solution that we are here to demonstrate. So we did some training in November and December. But unfortunately, I think it was a very hectic time in Parliament, so a lot of members couldn't attend. We ended up with about 55 members attending. And Honorable Frolic felt that the numbers are too low for us to make a decision. So we need to basically drive this through committees so that by the end of the demos to the committees, we are able then to make an informed decision. At the end of the training, you will get a poll that asks you the kind of things about the training, as well as whether the solution is suitable for training. Without wasting time, I will then go to the training. You would have been contacted by IT to set up a WebEx account. I've put on the chat, I've put a link. So if you can just click on that link for me and then log in there to using your WebEx account. If you go to the meeting chat, there's a link there. If you can just go there and are there any members without a WebEx account? Honorable members, can I get an indication if anyone doesn't have a WebEx account?
Chair, through you. I tried to follow the link that was sent by IT to me to open my own account, but it couldn't allow me. When I put a password, I don't know what's wrong with the password, because they say there must be a high note, I don't know, a high note and a low note, whatever. I do that. But unfortunately, it couldn't open an account for me.
Okay. Sorry. That's Honorable
Mkondo.
Okay. So in that case, all those members who don't have a working account, I'm gonna put another link on the chat. So now there's a second link that says guest. So just click on that link, you'll go in as a guest and you just need to put it on there. So those with WebEx accounts, just go to the proper link there and use your WebEx account. But if you have problems with that, then just go through the guest link. Then you should be able to come through. Okay, so what
I also received a message that I will receive the link, but I've never received any link.
Okay, if there's any issues with the WebEx account, just go to the chat where I put guest, just go to that link. Then you should be able to come through as a guest. You'll just need to put in your name. So it should lead you to something like this. I'm going to share my screen.
I'm sorry, Chairperson. It appeared on my screen and disappeared quickly. I haven't clicked. That's Honorable Ngobo, Chairperson.
What are you using, Honorable Ngobo? Are you using a tablet or a laptop?
I'm using a laptop, yes, Samsung.
Okay, if you go to your, what browser do you use? Do you use Chrome?
Yes.
Yeah, if you go to your browser, then you should be able to see it. Okay, let me share my screen.
Mr. Mchisan, can I just tell you the problem that I'm encountering? It keeps on asking for my video, what photo, whatever. I'm using an iPad, Samsung, and my video is open. I don't really understand. I've gone through the.
I think, ma'am, just go through the guest link. Then you should be fine.
The desk link.
The guest link. If you go to the chat on Zoom, on the meeting that we are on Zoom, you go to. Okay, this is.
I go to.
Yeah, on Zoom, just go to the chat. Just go to the chat here. If you go to the chat here, then it will open a chat here. You see there's guest there. Just click on this link. Okay. If you go on Zoom, you see where your video is.
I only see names Namhla, Samba, Kosim Kondo, and on my right hand side, I see your face. I see number of names of people here.
Okay, Honorable Mkhonto, you are okay. You've come through. Sorry, Honorable Dunja, you were saying?
I say I don't see this thing. I must go to chat.
Okay, on Zoom, ma'am, you see where you have your microphone.
I see my microphone here. It's here.
And next to your microphone on your left, you'll see a video. And then you'll see participants. And then you'll see chat. Click on that, on what says.
I click on chat.
Okay, then on chat, you'll see there's a link there that says guest. Then click on that link.
Okay, I've clicked on that link.
Yes, when you click on that link, it's going to open up a browser with this green thing at the top.
It says enter your name.
Yeah, enter your name. Put your name as Honorable Dunja.
Okay.
And then join. Okay, Honorable Goff in as well.
I've joined.
Okay.
Again, he's saying no camera.
Now I can't join.
Sorry, can I just finish with Honorable Dunja? What does it say, Honorable Dunja?
It's saying no camera or microphone found.
Then what does it say next to that? You can just say okay.
Okay. I've written okay.
Honorable Ndabwe, you are okay. I can see you.
And then it says join as
participant.
Welcome, setting up user now.
Yes, it's busy setting you up, so you should come through very soon. Any other members struggling?
Yes, name is Ngobo, Honorable Ngobo. I am struggling. I've gone to chat, clicked there. What I see is who can you see your message recording on, and then to everyone. I don't see anything else that's guiding me as you have been doing.
Can I maybe I should just paste this again because sometimes if you let me just okay, I'm pasting again. Can you see the message that came through now?
What I see is the guest. Yes,
under guest, there's a link. Click on that link.
Okay.
Okay. Then it should take you to a screen with this green thing at the top. And then it will ask you for your name.
And your name.
Honorable Kado, you've come through. I can see you.
Hey.
So any other member who's struggling? There was a member?
I'm still struggling. The picture which is on my screen now in my iPad, it's young.
Honorable Dunja. Is it Honorable Dunja? No, you are fine. Yes. You are fine. You are fine. You are ready. Let me just help the other members. We will start with the training soon. Can I ask any other member who's got problem?
Yes, I tried to click and I did on the guest, and now no camera or microphone found.
Okay, then just click OK there. It's fine.
Click OK.
Yeah.
Yes.
Then it should ask for your name at some point.
Well, what I see in front of me is no camera.
Okay, but
except on the left hand side there is allow or block.
allow.
Allow, okay.
Yeah.
Done. Okay. Well, I see you now. I don't know how it's happening.
Okay.
Oh, I see myself. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Okay. Then it should ask you to put your name.
No, instead it says join now. Should I?
Join as participant.
Yeah,
Then you
join.
almost Honorable Volmarans. Honorable Volmarans.
Yes, my chief. I'm also struggling.
So can you see guest there? On chat, can you see guest? Honorable Volmarans. Okay, I've got someone.
I see the one guest which I pressed before.
Yeah, and then it should ask you for your name. And then you join participant.
Hi.
You know, all I'm seeing now are the names of the participants displayed, but I don't see my name.
Okay, sorry, are you Honorable?
No.
I've got two members that join in as 3808 as guest. I don't know who they are. Okay, so Honorable Ngobo.
Yes.
If you go in, okay, what are you seeing now?
I'm seeing on a screen. There are names of the members whom I would say are participants.
Okay.
Their names.
Okay. Did you go to chat?
I see you now.
Did you go to chat? Honorable Volmarans, you have come through. I can see you. Honorable.
I see Volmarans. Yeah. Okay. I don't know how is it happening.
Okay. Honorable.
Honorable Volmarans is disappeared.
Yes. Okay. So
yeah, what must I do now?
Okay. Can I ask you? Are you seeing a green screen at the top?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Did it ask you to join?
Yes, and I pressed join. I clicked join. Yes.
Did you put in your name?
When I tried to put my name, it did not allow me to type. It wasn't typing the name.
Okay. Can you close?
That's why maybe I need to go back to I don't know how.
Can you close the screen and try again? Close the screen. That says the screen should say legislate for WebEx at the top.
Yeah, it says so, but
it says legislate for WebEx. Then what do you see? What do you see in the screen itself?
In the screen itself, I see the names of the members, honorable members.
Okay.
Mr. Nsichana, I'm think honorable Ngobo, I hear that guest 3808. Maybe you should rename guest 3808.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it could be. Okay, how do I test that? Okay, Honorable Ngobo, I think you are here.
Yes.
I think you just didn't put your your
Name.
name correctly. Okay, so any other member, can we then start now? I think I'm missing Honorable Nonzele. Honorable Nonzele?
Am I in, Mna?
Yes, I've been listening to you.
Yeah, Honorable Tunja. Honorable Tunja, yes, you are in.
I'm not in.
Honorable Nonzele, I don't see you unless you did name yourself.
But I hear everything that you are saying.
Yes, remember we are talking on Zoom.
On this,
So
yeah.
I need you to be
Yes.
on the voting platform. To do that, go to chat. Do you see chat?
No, I've done that, and so I ended up logged off. So I was offloaded. I had to be logged in back again.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, let's try that quickly again. Go to chat.
I'm on chat now.
Then on chat, see where it says guest. Just click on the link there.
Yeah, I've got an account.
Oh, you've got an account. Okay.
Yeah.
So go to the link at the top. The one without guest. Do you have that? The one at 11?
No, I only have guest here. Let me scroll upward.
Yeah, maybe you need to go as guest for now.
Yeah, for now, yeah.
Continue. Just go in as guest, and then it will open up the voting platform, right?
No, it says I must enter my name.
Enter your name, yes. Okay, and then it will ask you to join in
as guest.
Join. No, join as participant.
Do you see me now?
You haven't come through yet.
I'm on a camera screen, and you say short.
No, just it's fine. Just say okay, and
where okay? Where should I say okay?
If okay, I'm trying to.
There is what? There is audio output device, mute, stop video, and join.
Yeah, join.
Okay. It's the joining part. The joining part is not responding.
What does it say?
No, it's just where it is on join policy, and it does not move. Let me just a second.
Okay, but what does it tell you when you click on join?
No, it doesn't do anything. It just remains join.
Okay, Tutu, can you call Honorable Nonzele?
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on there. I don't know. Chair, maybe we can start so long. Oh, but Honorable Tunja, what happened to you?
I don't know.
Okay, if you go to your web browser.
Yeah.
Where is that now?
Either Chrome or whatever web browser you're using.
I'm
or
using
maybe just go to the chat and go as a guest.
I must start again.
I don't know what happened. You might have closed something. Okay, Honorable Nonzele, I can see you.
Responded. Yeah.
Honorable Nonzele, I can see you now.
Oh, Honorable Zuma is still struggling to get in.
Okay.
I can't apply. Yes.
Honorable Zuma?
Yeah.
Okay, Honorable Zuma, and we've lost Honorable Tunja. I don't know why.
I can hear you.
Yes, you
I'm back on
remember you're
chat.
hearing me on Zoom. I need you to be
Yes.
on the voting platform. That's where I've lost you.
I
So
went.
on Zoom, can we just do that again? Maybe something happened to your network. Just go on the chat and click on the guest link.
Where is the chat now?
Okay, on Zoom, remember where you have your where you have your
Okay, I'm
mic.
back on. I'm on Zoom. I have clicked Zoom.
Okay.
So you say I must go on chat. Yes, I'm on chat.
Chat,
And then
go to the link under guest. Can you see the link under?
I don't. My name is not here. So should I just click any guest?
No, on chat, go to the link under guest. Maybe let me paste it again. I've pasted it again.
I am on chat. I've clicked chat.
Yes. Do you see the link that says guest?
Yeah, under Zandisile Msichan.
Yes, click on that link.
I've clicked on that.
Okay.
It's saying enter your name.
Yes, put your name.
I'm putting my name. I log in as a guest.
And yes, and join as participant.
It's still setting up.
Yes. Okay.
Now it's still then it says joining a browser.
Now you come through. Please don't close that screen, Honorable Tunja. I think you probably closed it by
I
mistake.
haven't touched anything.
Honorable Zuma. Was it Honorable Zuma that had the problem?
Yes, Honorable Zuma.
Honorable Zuma?
Yes, Zandi. It's Honorable
Yes.
Zuma.
Okay, can you go to chat on Zoom?
It's chat all. I'm in there.
Okay. Can you see the guest link there, the last link that I posted?
I only see the participants.
Okay. No. Under after participants, you'll see chat. You click on chat.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Under chat, I've just posted again.
There is the link.
Guest, yes. Click
there
on
is
that.
enter your name.
Yes, enter your name and then join as participant.
Sibongile Zuma. Right. Then they said log in as a guest. I've logged in.
Yes. Okay, what is it doing now?
They said welcome, setting up user now.
You should be able to come through very soon. Any other member?
Yes, Honorable Ngobo, I am at where I must enter my name. Here is a problem.
Okay.
If I type my name,
Yes.
it's not typing. It's not happening. There is my name and then log in as a guest on the bottom.
Are you using a laptop?
Yes.
You have a mouse. Make sure that
No, not a mouse, or maybe a notepad.
Yeah, make sure that you tap on the actual name where it says enter your name. Make sure you tap there because I think your cursor is not there.
That is actually what I'm doing. There is a cursor, and if I type, it's not typing.
Okay. I don't know, but I think it's probably you that is logged in as 3808. Okay, I think let's continue. Let's see, because I think you'll be able to when we issue the vote, you'll tell me if you see the vote. Okay, so honorable members, I'm gonna try and make this as very quick as possible. So what the system does is you are able to set up votes. Now, votes can either be open, which means you can see everyone who's voted and you can see who they voted. Then the vote, one of the requirements was also to say we need to be able to do secret ballots on the system. Now, when you do a secret ballot, you do need to know that all members have voted. You need to know who has voted, but you don't want to know how they voted. So you'll see the difference between these type of votes. So what I'll do is I'm gonna issue a vote, I'm gonna start a vote, and it will come up on your screen. Tell me if it comes up. I'm starting this vote. I'm gonna set it up for 3 minutes, and the name of the vote is, I'm saying it's open vote 1 for the PC on labor and employment. Okay, now I'm gonna stop sharing my screen so that you can see your own screen. Okay, have all members seen? Have all members seen the vote coming through?
Vote number 1, yes.
1. Yes.
Is the member not seeing the vote?
Yeah, no, then it means I'm not there because I'm not
The
seeing
vote
the
is on top, ne?
Yes.
It's number 2.
Yes, you'll see it's got there's a timer at the top for the vote. We currently
Yes.
at 2 minutes, 10 seconds. And the vote itself is a vote on open vote 1 on PC on LE. So it will have, I'm gonna just pause this so that I can see everyone is with me. So on your right-hand side, at the top, you'll see there's a vote. It says vote open. Can we all see that? And then there's a big button that says vote now.
Yes.
Yes,
I
no,
see that. It says vote open and vote open, vote 1 PC, and then details vote now. Yes.
Yes, that's what you
And
should be
then
seeing.
it
Any member
identifies
who's
the
not seeing-
participant.
Can I speak now? Can I speak? It's Dunjwa.
Yes.
On my screen is the time. On my left, it's 1 minute 57 seconds. It's
Yes.
number 3. It's no, which is 3. It's
Okay.
yes, which is 2. It's abstain, which is not. It's not saying.
Okay.
The
If you
name
go
of the vote.
to the right, if you go to the after abstain, if you go to the right, what do you see?
I see there's a red button.
Yes, and then there's people, there's information.
There's people, yes. There's a
then-
red button, there's an icon, there's people, and there's HD.
Okay, that's your initials. Okay, now if you go down from, you'll see chamber and rooms, right?
I don't see chamber and rooms.
What do you see below the people?
I see there are 2 icons. There's one with 3 lines, and there's something with as if it's a window with 2 things, as if it's just a.
Okay.
And then I see somebody's face here. I think it's one of the members, and that's that.
Sorry.
Member Lekoff. That's what I see on my screen.
Okay. So you're using a tablet, right?
Yes, I'm using a tablet.
Okay. If you, because I think not everything is visible from your screen. I think you're not seeing everything. So if you minimize that, then everything should fall within the screen. I think your screen is showing you half of what is there. You should have something that says open vote and where you can vote.
Sure. How do I minimize it?
Okay. Can I ask Tutu, do you want to call Honorable Dunjwa?
Okay, everyone.
Okay, so let me ask him to call
Should
you.
I close my mic?
Yes, on Zoom, yes.
On Zoom.
Yes.
Oh, how am I going to go then? Oh,
Okay.
it means I must go back. I must start again. Oh.
No, yeah. I think the problem, if you're doing that on a tablet, you have two things open. So I think that's where the confusion comes through. Okay, but for other members, you have all of that. I see the 7 people have already voted. So the 3-step process.
Can I ask something? Can I ask? Because the mic is on and I'm on Zoom and I'm going to be disturbing when talking on the phone. Is it possible that at some stage when everything other people have managed to understand, I then go to, if you have time.
Yes, we can do that, ma'am.
Yeah,
okay.
because it's going to
so maybe
disturb other people.
You can listen so long.
I'll
But
just listen, yeah.
If you are seeing that screen, it means you are on the right screen. But I think your tablet is not showing you everything. It's just showing you the left top corner of what it should be showing you. Okay, so for all the amendments, this is a 3-step process. It's asking you to vote on that question, and the question is open vote 1, PC on LE. So the first step is to vote now. Once you click on vote now, then it will give you 3 options. And the options are the usual options that you get. It's yes, no, or abstain. So you can choose any of those. I am choosing abstain. That's the second step. The third step is now you cast the vote that you have chosen by clicking vote. Once you do that, or maybe once you do that, then it will show you, oh, sorry. Okay, my vote has been open for too long. Okay, so once you do that, then you've cast your vote. Then it will start tallying the numbers. Now, because it's an open vote, you can see how many people have voted no, you can see how many people have voted yes, and you can see how many people have abstained. So now I'm gonna release this vote, and then you can vote. It's a 3-step process. The first step is vote now. Now, it means I am wanting to vote on this vote by clicking vote now. Then it gives you the options that you can vote on. It's yes, abstain, and no. That's the second step. I am voting abstain. But then I've just voted abstain. I haven't cast it. The third step is to cast it by pressing on vote. So it's a simple 3-step process. And after that, it will show you, but it's quick. It will show you something that says success, and it will show you a voting ballot. Okay, now because the vote is still open, you are able to change your vote, just like you are able to change your vote in the House. Again, it's a 3-step process. Remember, you've voted the first vote, but now if you want to change your mind, I can then change my mind by saying change vote. That's the first step. Then it gives me the 3 options, but it will highlight the one that I have voted for, right? But now I can change my abstain to yes. That's the second step. The third step is to cast that ballot. I can then say vote. Then it will change, it will tell me that the success again, and it will change my vote to yes. Can I pause this just to see everyone is okay? Has everyone voted?
Yes, I've been going with you.
Okay, so
started with the yes, and then it changed.
Honorable Dunja voted because she got a problem. There's someone who's guessed for 202 who hasn't voted. Okay, so the one other thing that you must notice with the vote, it needs to tell you that the time is about to run out. So I'm not gonna release it again. Initially, the counter was black, but now it changes. You can see it changes to orange once it reaches 30 seconds. This is just to tell you that the vote is about to close. And at 00, it will automatically close. Okay, I think the next vote will be much better. Okay, so now it will automatically close, and you can see now on your screen that the vote has been closed. Okay, so what then happens? I then need to just go to the vote. I'm gonna share my screen again. Let me share my screen. I'm sharing my screen now. Okay, now the table staff can go to that vote and inspect it. And what they will see is that there were 13 votes that were cast, and it will tell you who voted. There were 6 yeses, which is 46%, and 6 noes, which is 46%. And there was 1 abstention because I've retracted my abstention. Then it will also, if your WebEx account has already been allocated to a party, it will tell you in terms of parties, the numbers per party. And but we'll do that when we do this online, and it will tell you who voted. It will tell you Honorable Goff has voted yes, Honorable Dana has abstained, Honorable Volmarans has voted yes, and it will tell you everyone who has voted and what they have voted for. Now, those members who have got a WebEx account already set properly, they will have their party here. But we will do this. I think that we've got another member here with a proper WebEx account. So you'll be able to see in terms of the vote, and then the table staff will be able to say they are declaring the vote, because it was a tie. I'm gonna just say it was unsuccessful. I'm sure there's a parliamentary language that the table will be using, and therefore the vote has failed, and therefore it will then tell you that that vote has failed. Okay, but for practice purposes, Honorable Dunja, are you still having a problem? Okay, or you are going to listen, and then we'll get someone to take you through this individually.
Yes, because I'm using an iPad, so I don't know whether the problem is because I'm using an iPad. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's how you're sizing the things that you see on your iPad. It's not showing you the whole screen. It's only showing you part of the screen, because what you're saying is on your screen is, so normally you take your 2 fingers, put them on the iPad and squeeze them together so you can.
I'm trying to do that. I've been trying to do that.
Okay, but in any case, let's then open another vote. I can start another vote. Again, it's an open vote that I am doing. I think we're gonna try and be quicker on this one. We've got a second vote, honorable members, coming through. Again, it's a simple 3-step process. You want to vote, you press vote now. The second step is you choose the vote. I am going to abstain again. And then now I want to cast my vote that I have chosen by pressing the 3rd step, vote. So I have voted, then it tells me the success, but it still says you have voted. It tells you what you have voted for. But sorry, is there a question? the question, can I pause this vote? Was there a question, members?
No.
Okay.
Well, I must say, you left Honorable Ngobo along the way, and I also decided just to stop so that I don't disturb the process. But I was seeing the screen and everything that was happening, voting and so on.
Okay. Sorry, I'm talking to Honorable
Ngobo.
Ngobo. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I thought Ntutu was going to call you. Okay.
Oh.
Are you seeing the screen? Are you seeing the green button that says vote now?
Yes, right now I'm seeing the screen.
Okay. So the first step
and
is
I'm
to
seeing a number of links on my right. And whilst voting was taking place, I was also able to see everything happening.
Okay, so Honorable Ngobo, are you seeing vote now on your screen at the moment?
Not now.
What are you seeing?
I'm only seeing a picture of someone on the screen wearing a jacket and a cap.
Yeah. Okay. You are also.
I got lost somewhere.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm not an IT person, but I think I got lost when I was trying to enter my name, and I couldn't type the name. Nothing was happening there. But I'm just thinking.
Can I ask Honorable that you by 1 minute? Can I ask you, Honorable Ngobo, to we'll come back to you. Maybe you and stay behind and we can finish this.
Hey, there's a noise on the background.
Yeah, so sorry, the noise is coming from. It's coming from Honorable Zuma. Can you? Yeah. Honorable Zuma, I think the noise is coming from you. Okay, so now the time is about to lapse, and it will close. So the vote has just closed now. Again, it's a simple three-step process. Vote now, make your selection, and cast your selection. Okay, so now if we go, let me now share my screen so you see what the table staff is going to be seeing. If I share my screen, I can then inspect that vote. Again, in terms of the details, we've got 12 votes cast, and we've got 5 abstentions, 4 noes, and 3 yeses. And these are people who have voted, and you'll see that the vote is clearly visible for everyone to see. So we can then just close this vote and declare it, because everyone has abstained, I'm gonna make it unsuccessful, and it has failed. But again, the table will use the proper language house, and I can declare that vote as having failed. Now I'm going to issue a new vote, but this is now a secret vote. Note the difference between open and a secret vote. I am going to issue this vote. I am starting it, and it's a secret vote. And I'll stop sharing so you can see the screen. Okay, so there's no difference in terms of voting. It's still a 3-step process. Vote now, make your selection, and cast your selection by pressing vote. But you'll notice now that at the top, you're no longer seeing how many no's, how many yeses are coming, because this is a secret ballot. You're only seeing the numbers. It's only telling me that only 4 people have voted. Can we all vote by using the 3-step process? Press vote now, make your selection, and cast your selection by pressing vote. So step 1, vote now, make a selection, and then the 3rd step is vote by casting that vote, and it will tell you success. Okay, I'm gonna vote as well. So the numbers are going up, but because the time still allows, it still allows you to change your vote. You can test that by pressing change vote. Again, simple 3-step process, change vote. And now you just highlight the vote that you didn't choose. And then the 3rd step is pressing vote. Okay, so also now it will tell me which members have voted, but it won't tell me what they have voted because it's a secret ballot. Can we all vote? Okay, I've got 12 votes, so I think we can continue. There's still 40 seconds to go. But if everyone has voted, then maybe you could save a bit of time and I can just finish this vote and close it. Okay, I'm closing the vote. The time, it tells me now it's under 30 seconds, so the timer has changed. Okay, let me finish the vote and save a few seconds. So now the vote is closed. Now note what you are going to see, because now this is a secret ballot. Let me share my screen. Can you see my screen? Okay, so now I
don't see your screen.
Oh, can you see it now?
No, it's I'm always sitting with that picture of Parliament background with kids walking past.
Are you on Zoom? You are on Zoom, right?
No, I'm on the WebEx.
Yeah. Now remember, we're talking on Zoom. Remember that
Yes.
you'll be seeing on Zoom. So all the talking and everything is happening on Zoom. The sharing of the screen is happening on Zoom. It's the voting depends on the voting.
Okay. It's not minimized on my side. It's just one screen. Yeah. No, it's fine. But I know I follow what you say. Okay. I will not tamper with the screen.
Yeah. Okay. So, but now what you see is that if you go to the tally, it still gives you the tally. There's 7 yeses, there's 3 abstains, and there's 2 no's. But if you go to the voters, remember what we were seeing. We could see Honorable Dana, for instance. We could see when Honorable Dana abstained in the previous vote. But now, because this is a secret vote, all the system does is simply say redacted. So when you vote, what happens is it just adds a number to the selection that you have chosen. It doesn't take your name. So you can see, you can't tell how people have voted here because it's a secret ballot, but you can tell that 12 people have voted, and you can tell that 7 of them said yes and 3 abstained and 2 said no. That's the fundamental difference between the open and the closed vote. Any questions? Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and then I'm going to close this vote, and then we'll do just one last secret vote. And then, so what I'll do is I'll declare it as successful. There were 7 yeses, and it has passed. So now the vote is closed, and we can go to the next vote. Because I think we're sort of getting the hang of it now, we're gonna make this one very quick. Again, it's a secret vote. It tells you, that it's a secret vote for PC on LE. It's secret vote number 2. 3-step process. You vote now. Then it gives you the options of voting. You choose your vote, and then you cast the election by pressing vote. And then it tells you success. So all the time you know what you have voted for. But because the time allows, it still allows you to change your vote. Initially, it will say vote now, but when you have already voted, that vote now button changes to change vote. So what you do is, if you wish to change your vote, you can just go change vote. Again, 3-step process. Make a new selection, step 2, and then step 3, you cast that ballot, and then it tells you success. Okay. But again, because it's a secret vote, all you see is the total votes. And currently we're sitting at 9. If we can all vote, we can maybe save a few minutes of this vote. We now at 10 votes. Honorable Zuma, do you want to vote? And Honorable Dana, you also haven't voted yet. Yeah. Thanks, Honorable Dana. Honorable Zuma, do you want to vote? Okay, so okay, so again, we're getting to 30 seconds. Your clock is going to change. The clock has changed. Okay. Okay, the vote will close in 5 seconds. Okay, the vote has now closed. Again, I can then just share my screen with you. I can share my screen. And if I go to the vote, I can then just show you what happened in this vote. In this vote, there were 7 noes and 3 yeses and 2 abstentions. You can still see that we got 12 votes, and you can see who voted. But again, because it's a secret ballot, I'm able to see that Honorable Goff voted, but the vote has been redacted. This is equivalent to you casting the ballot in the chamber when you're choosing, for instance, a president at the beginning of a parliament. So everyone knows who has voted, because you get called to the front to vote, but nobody knows who voted for who. Because this is a secret ballot, so I can then just declare this, because there were many no's, this was unsuccessful. and it has failed. Sorry, it has failed, and I can then just declare that vote. This is where the table staff can then announce that a certain vote has passed or failed. Now, just one quick, members can ask for a division. So if a division has been asked, it's easy for the table staff to set up the vote. So I'll just demonstrate now to say, this is how they set up the vote. If you can see my screen, I can say this is a vote on a, let's call it debate on vote 1000. I know there's no such vote on it in Parliament. So if you are voting for that budget, you are voting on there. This is how they set it up. I'm going to set this one up for 2 minutes so that we can be quick. But because I want it to be a secret ballot, you can set up a secret ballot. I can just say, I just need the name only. And then I'm able to save the vote. And I can issue this vote. Notice how easy it was for me to, sorry, I need to, can I stop sharing my screen because I can't see the whole screen now? But that's how easy it is to set up a vote. I've already set up that vote. All I'm gonna do is I'm gonna issue it now. I'll start the vote and the vote is started. I've set it up for 2 minutes, so if you can try and be quick. 3-step process, vote now, make your selection, 2nd step, and 3rd step, cast that selection by pressing vote. I am voting, I'm abstaining, I am casting my abstention. But because time allows, you still have a chance to change your vote. If you wish to change your vote, again, 3-step process, you change vote, 1st step, make that selection, the new selection, and then cast the new selection by pressing vote. It's a 3-step process. I voted abstain, but now I think I want to vote yes. 2nd step, and then I cast that by pressing vote, and it tells me that the vote was, my vote came through by saying success, and I am ready to go. Sorry, I might have been disconnected. Yeah, I'm just gonna come through now. So you still have some time to vote. I hope I'm not sharing my screen. Okay, yeah. Okay, so you still have some time. Okay, now we have 20 seconds. I've got 11 votes. If anyone wants to vote, you have 15 seconds. Now, you'll notice just by seeing the total votes there, you'll know that you are dealing with a secret ballot. And therefore, the vote is now closed. I can then okay, let me share my screen for this vote. Okay, again, you are able to see how many people have voted. This time we've got 11 votes. You can see the tally. There were 4 noes, 6 noes, 4 yeses and 1 abstention, and you can see who voted, but you can't see what they voted for. And therefore, I can just go and declare this vote. So it's as easy as that, honorable members. Are there any questions? Okay, I think the only real problem is just logging onto the system itself. And you need to be able to, we advise that people use laptops or tablets, because what seems to happen is when you've got 2 things open, you need to be comfortable with your device, that you know exactly where you are, because otherwise then you can close things, without unintentionally and end up looking at the wrong screen. So I'm gonna declare this vote as unsuccessful, and it has failed. So the vote has been declared now. So if there aren't any questions, I think that's really about it. It's as simple as that. It's a simple 3-step process, but I think it just gets, you need to get used to how you use your device, basically. Any questions, any comments?
So you were saying we can, it's me, it's Dundra. You say if you don't use your laptop, you can use your iPad.
Yes, you can. It's just, I think you need to be okay with how you because I think if your screen, remember your iPad could be at 150%, so you are only seeing the top left part of the screen.
Oh, okay.
So I think that's the problem with your device, because we are seeing the right. You're seeing the right screen. You just need to see the right of that screen. That's where the voting takes place.
My last question is, can somebody come physical to you?
Yes, we can do that, except that if you arrange, then, because sometimes some of us work from home, depending on what is happening in Parliament. So you just need to make an arrangement so that we know someone to assist you.
Whom should I call for arrangement? Zolani will give me the number.
Can we? Okay, we'll give the details to Zolani. We just need to arrange it.
Okay.
Yes.
No, I'm fine.
So there's just one last part. Unfortunately, because this is not our meeting, normally we set up a poll beforehand to say, what do you think about the training, and is it something that can be useful for Parliament? So what we'll do is we'll send it's a 1-page, it's just 6 questions, yes, no, yes, no. If all members can fill those in, and we'll get that from the committee secretary.
Okay. So you are done.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you.
No, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Nunzal. Well, thank you very much, honorable members, for being patient. It was said it's going to be 15 minutes, but it's not as easy as it's being, maybe depending on the device that a person is using. But yeah, I think we've come to the end. Mr. Sakaza, we will, members, I would advise that if you want to make an arrangement, a physical thing, it's allowed. The gentleman did say that. We'll get the number from Mr. Sakaza, and we're done. the training is over. We'll meet in the house in the mini plenaries. Our meeting stand adjourned. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.